Well, hello, my valued listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Living in Your Power. I'm your host, Dr. Marlene Greenleaf, and we're continuing our October journey through the power of presence, reclaiming stillness, strength, and sacred space. So far, we've explored the power of slowing down and protecting your peace. But today, we're going even deeper because there's a specific kind of strength we don't talk about enough. And that is the strength to stay still when everything in you wants to move. So let's get into it. In a culture obsessed with movement and momentum, stillness can feel uncomfortable. But here's what I know. Our stillness is not weakness. Stillness is not laziness. And stillness is not failure. It is, in fact, in my opinion, wisdom, discernment, and obedience. Because there is power in saying, I don't have all the answers right now, but I trust the one who does. So Isaiah 40:31 reminds us, but they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Waiting doesn't mean God is silent. It means He's working behind the scenes, in the details, in the becoming. And sometimes the breakthrough doesn't come when you push harder. It instead comes when you pause longer. So let's be honest. Waiting isn't easy. But here's how you know you might be resisting the stillness God is calling you into. You're rushing decisions because silence feels scary. You keep busy so you don't have to sit with your own thoughts. You confuse noise for progress. You're anxious when things feel slow, even if they're peaceful. Stillness forces us to trust what we can't control. And that's the most sacred surrender. So how can you embrace the wait without losing your mind? Here are 3 things that I've tried that I want to share with you. First, create rhythm in the rest. By this I mean, use this time to journal, reflect, and deepen your spiritual practice. Waiting doesn't mean doing nothing. So you can create rhythm in the rest. Second, ask better questions. So instead of, why is this taking so long? Try instead, what is God refining in me during this season? And third, anchor to what you know is true. Because God is faithful and you are called. And this pause has purpose. Now here's your empowerment prompt for this week. I want you to think on this. Where in your life are you being called to wait instead of move? And what might God be growing in this stillness? So of course I want you to write it down and release the pressure to have it all figured out and just be still. still. So I'm going to repeat that again. Where in your life are you being called to wait instead of move? And what might God be growing in this stillness? So again, write it down and release the pressure to have it all figured out and just be still. So in closing, I want to again remind you that waiting does not mean you're stuck. It simply means you are being strengthened. So give yourself permission to be present in the pause. Trust the timing, trust the process, and trust God. Now I too am in a waiting season. And I just want you to know that yes, the waiting can at times seem insurmountable, but just remember that. Trust the timing, trust the process, and above all, trust God. So I want to thank you again for sharing this moment of stillness with me. And I'll be back next week with the final episode in our October series, one that will bring everything together with grace and boldness. So until next time, dear listeners, I want you to continue to live boldly in your power today. And if it gets tough, just breathe. You still got the strength to rise. So I want you to remember to just be still. Until next time, dear listeners, continue to live in your